And welcome back to Agri Talk. Our Farm Progress Show preview series continues here at the Farm Progress Show site in Boone, Iowa. Host farmer Eric Ziel is with us. Let's get a farmer's perspective. I know things can be somewhat deceiving when you just drive by a windshield look, but I tell you, from the windshield, things look better here than a lot of places I've seen. You're probably, in a tough drought year, probably fairly happy that you're as good off as you are.
Well, yeah, we've actually fared fairly well. I mean, we've had a lot of heat and a lot of dry weather, but when I've been in Illinois and Indiana, it's like, boy, we're lucky we've got what we got. It's not 100% crop, but at least we have a crop. So
yeah, if you had to give a kind of a ballpark figure right now, what do you think your corn yields will be and your bean yield?
Boy, that's going to be a tough guess because it's going to vary over. I mean, the sandy stuff's going to be probably gone, but there's some good areas that, and some of the heavy black stuff. I hope we're in the 120, 130 bushel range, and maybe it'll be better than that, but that's something to shoot for. Which
will be good this year, that's for sure. Now, you've had some storms moving through here lately.
Yeah, we've had some nasty weather. Unfortunately, but we've had some rains with it, and stuff is really greened up. We've had just a couple days ago we had 7/10, and we've been getting a few little rains, and it really has changed things. The grass is all green, the hay looks better, the alfalfa's really added 3 or 4 inches in just a very few days. So it's stuff looks a lot better.
That alfalfa is a pretty valuable crop this year too.
It is. Boy, hay a month ago just went nuts, and we produce a reasonable amount of hay, and it's all sold. It's all accounted for already. So,
I mentioned going into the break what it's like to have a building going up and then watch it come down. I mean, you have a big building going up right outside of the office here, and it was partway up, and you had a big storm hit it.
Yeah, on the 25th of July, we had a fairly sudden storm come up, and what the engineers determined, we had a downburst. The building, the walls were all up, the trusses were on, but there was no tin on the building, and it's a panelized structure, so the walls were solid, and the downburst was just more than it could take, and it actually blew out the east wall. And then the whole thing just imploded on itself. So, but that building's down, and it's subsequently it's been rebuilt. It's back to where it was in about 2 weeks. So it's pretty amazing. It's an 80 by 192 building. So it's good sized building to get back to where we were. We just lost about 2 weeks.
They're going strong out there now, and you're going to actually put it to use during the Farm Progress Show.
Yeah, it'll be used during the show for the VIP area and the exhibitor meal area.
So that they've got to get it done here in the next 18 days, and they're working hard at it. All right, so we talked with Matt about the field demonstrations during the show. Should be in good shape there.
Yeah, we should be in good shape because we planted that corn. It was actually some of the first corn we planted on April 11th. Short season corn. It's progressed really well. It's drying down now. The stalks are turning. The ears have all turned. Some of the ears are starting to hang down. So the corn's going to be, I'm virtually certain, fairly dry. I know our agronomist, in reviewing some of our fields, actually thinks that this short season corn is going to be our best corn because it was far enough along that it missed some of that heat. And it's interesting because normally, we're looking at, 107 to 110 day corn to be our best yielding. To get corn that's 80 day or less corn to yield, in the 120 bushel, 130 bushel range it's pretty amazing for us.
Just an unusual year, isn't it? Now, your regular harvest, when do you think that will start up?
Well, until it started raining here in the last 2 weeks, I thought right after the show we'll probably be combining it. That might push it back, but I'm certain we'll be combining by the 10th of September.
You've been at this a long time. Is this one of the more challenging years you've had?
Well, it's certainly been different. We've had some challenging years, going back to like '93 and stuff with all the water, but this has been, I would say, the most different or unique year I've ever had, because we've just had a little bit of everything. I mean, and especially the heat. A lot of hot days with low humidity, which was unusual. Usually you get high heat, we get high humidity, and you could certainly tell it in the corn plants, especially, by the time you get 3, 4, 5 days into that hot, dry air, and boy, the corn was it was hurting.
I mentioned earlier, well, you came in with a jacket on. We've seen a lot of people working outside with sweatshirts on. It made me think back. We seemed to warm up a month early. March was such a warm month. It makes me wonder now we're going to cool off a month early.
Boy, who knows? It's different, yeah, because March was warm. April was just a touch cool and a little wetter, and then it dried out, and it's been hot ever since until today. I think it was 57 or 8 this morning, so it was a little cool when I went outside.
What about insect pressure this year? What have you dealt with?
Well, we've had it. Those Japanese beetles they did a lot of silk trimming and right down into the cob. They were pretty aggressive. We've treated we treated insecticide. We actually physically sprayed around the outsides of the fields, and then with the high crop sprayers, and then we sprayed the remainder of the fields with airplanes. And hopefully it's helped, but yeah, the insect pressure this year has been different, and it's some different insects than we've dealt with.
You mentioned the storms and the wind that you've had, and the corn has stood pretty well. I mean, my first thought was, wow, as dry as it's been, probably some pretty deep roots. Are you concerned, though, about it standing between now and harvest?
Yeah, this is going to be one of those years we can't wait to pick corn. I think I'm certain it'll be dry enough, but we're going to have to pick corn regardless, because the stocks are pretty weak. They've went through a lot this year between the insects and the dry weather and just everything. It's not going to stand forever. So yeah, I think we're going to have to be right to it.
Yet another challenge this year in what's been a challenging year. Now, I understand you dabble a little in some antiques too, right?
Oh yeah, we play with tractors a little bit. Yeah, I've got a few. We Minneapolis Molines and Olivers and high crops and just different things. We're trying to get. I've got a building that we're trying to organize them a little better in.
Maybe put some on display during the show?
Yeah, we'll have an open house Tuesday evening. After the show at this, it's about a half-mile southeast of the show site, and Feaster Seed Corn is helping me sponsor that. So we'll be glad to have everybody that would like to come. A
lot of interest in those antiques, that's for sure. All right, thank you very much, and hopefully the weather's going to cooperate here on through harvest time. Good to see you. We'll see you back here in about 18 days.
Yep, thank you. We'll be here.
Eric Ziel, host farmer here at the Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa. So that kind of gives you a picture of the way things stand at this point. And again, less than 3 weeks away from the start of the show, the 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month. Again, our preview program will be on Monday the 27th, and then complete coverage all 3 days of the show here in Boone, Iowa. Well, it's been quite a week with stops in San Diego, Denver, Omaha, and here in Boone. We're not quite done traveling yet, although we do get to make a stop at home over the weekend before heading to the Missouri State Fair in Sedalia on Monday and the Illinois State Fair in Springfield on Tuesday. So hope you'll join us for that coverage as well. Thanks for being with us again today. Have a safe weekend, everyone. This is AgriTalk, the voice of rural America.